Hey guys, welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host as always, Harry Wilmington. Be sure to go by the website to get a free copy of my best-selling ebook, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, by signing up for my video newsletter. Anyway, today's show, we're going to be talking about how is it that high-value men can actually lose women. And I think this is very important to listen to, especially for you guys that don't currently consider yourselves high-value men. Now, for the purposes of this show, we're going to use the definition of high-value men that has been set out mostly in the manosphere by men like Kevin Samuels and others, whereby basically a high-value man is somebody that, is respected by his peers, makes over six figures consistently for like 5 years or so, and basically has his stuff together to where women are really like jumping at the bit to try to date him. These are the guys that are like the top tier, usually the top 5 or 10% of guys that all women are after, okay? And so if you are not there yet in your life, there might be this thought that you have that the reason you're having trouble with women is because you're not at the high value man status yet. And that all you have to do in order to really get women and keep them is to get a better job, get better pay, be more respected in your field, and be somebody that women will desire. And then by default of that, you will become a guy that has no woman troubles and is able to keep women around because women are always clamoring for high value men. So logically then, if you become a high value man and women date you, they're not going to want to leave you, okay? But here's the problem with that, is if you've noticed, our best example of looking at marriages and relationships that succeed or fail really is like Hollywood and like celebrities and marriages and stuff like that. And I point that out specifically for this particular broadcast because by definition of being a celebrity and being in a position of power, most of the men that are celebrities, not the ones that are like the lowballer ones, but the ones that like have millions of dollars and, have lots of movies out that are successful, whatever. A lot of these men are in positions where they are respected in their field. They're definitely making way over 6 figures, close to like 7 or 8 figures. And so you would think that logically, again, if these men are considered high value men, that the women that get with them would want to stay with them, okay? And by the way, we're ignoring women that are gold diggers or women that are specifically out to get high value men that are about to die to get their money in a will or stuff like that, okay? We're talking about like just everyday women or even celebrity women that also see these celebrity guys and want to get with them, okay? You would think they'd be able to keep them in a relationship. But a lot of times you see people get divorced. Most recently, Megan Good and her husband, Devon Franklin, they literally just announced their divorce like this week, okay? And it's funny because like here in California, I used to go to the church where the preacher there would sporadically invite Devon Franklin to come and preach at that church. He would talk all about, him and Megan and all this other stuff. But again, he was a pretty good guy in a high power position. He definitely making some money and he's well respected in his industry. You would think he could hold on to a woman. Same thing with like Will and Jada, where it's like they're still technically together, but when they first got together, she was enamored with him and was, all about Will's life and trying to help him. And then as years have gone on, it's gone to like, oh, well, she's stepped out of the marriage a few times and, they've had open relationship talk and they've been close to breaking up a few times. So you look at this and then you look at the narrative being pushed in the manosphere about, well, if you're just a high value man, then women don't want you. But there are high value men out there that are losing women. So how does that happen? How is it that a guy that's making a lot of money and is respected is still losing women? Well, here's the truth, okay? Is that I'm going to go through a list today of just a few things, a few ways that high value men can lose women, okay? But the big takeaway I want you to get is this, is that no amount of money, no type of positioning that you have, none of that stuff can mask over if you have relationship skills and dating skills. And if you are not a guy that has been able to effectively figure out how to date women, what they want, how to relate to them, how to emote with them, how to empathize with them, how to bring them into your life in a way where they want to stick around, if you have not figured out those skills, no amount of money you have, no position that you have, is going to keep that woman around. I've been a guy at times where I've been having next to no money, living on people's couches, and still been able to date women that it didn't work out because I ended up dumping them. But the point is that I was able to attract them. And these are women that were making 6 figures and had really good jobs. But the point is that I didn't have money to do that. And yet I was still able to impress these women enough. I was able to, really throw down in the sack pretty good. And I knew how to relate to them on a level that no other guy, even the high powered or high value guys they dated before, could match, okay? And so I don't want you, that even if you're having trouble with women now, I don't want you to get into the mind frame of, well, if I just earn enough money and get a good position in my job, I'm going to keep a woman. You need to develop dating skills so when you get these women, A, you can attract them without having to use your money and influence as a means to try to get them, but also once you get them, you'll be able to keep them. And I teach a lot of those skills in my program, Introvert Dating Success, which you can check out at the website, introvertdatingsuccess.com, but it teaches you the ins and outs of how to meet, greet, attract, land, and keep. Most importantly is to keep the woman of your dreams, okay? And that's a skill set that is easily learnable if you have somebody that's able to teach you the right tactics and strategies to be able to develop yourself, to modify your mindset a little bit, and to know the ins and outs of how women view relationships and view building attraction in the proper way, all right? So check that out at the website. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go over this short list of how is it that high-value men lose women. This is a sporadic list. It's not in any particular order, so you'll hear me going all over the place, but here it is, okay? So first thing I wrote down is thinking that money can buy her emotions. I've heard so many of my women friends say things like, well, this guy wanted to fly me out of the country, wanted to take me to a hotel in Hawaii, wanted to do this as a first date, okay? And again, as a guy, you might be thinking, well, if I spend this money, it shows her really how serious I am about getting to know her, okay? And as I've said before on the show, women understand that they need to be able to show you who they are and why they're worth your time before you start giving out these major gifts or spending money. Now, high value guys that make a lot of money sometimes have a hard time understanding this, that they're thinking, okay, I got all this money now, so if I just pay for a big dinner or get her a big gift, then that's going to let her know that I can take care of her. And you're trying to show other things other than like, but do you guys really connect? Do you guys actually have like a bond of some kind? Or are you just trying to hope that your money is going to be the thing that allows her to want to be with you, okay? And as much as there's a narrative out there that, oh, women are just gold diggers, yada, 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 most of the women that I've met are really not about the money. I said most women that I've met have made more money than me. So trust me, it's not about the money. It's about the fact that they want to have a connection, and no amount of money is going to be able to buy that connection. They might stay around, but that doesn't mean that she feels a connection. It just means that she wants you for your money. All right. Another thing, you being too happy to be there. You cannot be the guy that is just groveling and saying, oh, thank you, princess. I've always wanted to date you. Or, oh my God, you're just the light of my life. Like any time that you give a woman the idea that you're just so happy to be there, it puts her off balance. It makes her feels a little bit uneasy because of the two of you, she doesn't want all the power to go to her. And when you do things like, just trying to be there for all the time and say, I just want to do whatever you want to do just because I want you around, well, that makes her feel like she's not wearing the pants. And that puts her in a position of where she feels really uneasy because, guys that tend to do that also tend to be the ones that if she does one thing wrong, want to suddenly stalk her or harm her in some kind of way, okay? So you need to be the guy that has a reasonable head on his shoulders. Yes, you're happy she's in your life, but if she goes away, you'll eventually be fine. You'll get over it. You'll find somebody else. And I know that might seem like the opposite thing you want to show because you're thinking you got to be like, you're the air I breathe. No. A guy that's level-headed will be like, you're cool. I'm glad you're here. Right now, I don't want anybody else, but if you go away, I will inevitably be fine, okay? The more level-headed you can be in your presentation to women, the more they're going to give you a chance and want to stay around, all right? Another thing high value guys do is oftentimes there can be a disconnection due to neglecting her. Guys that make a lot of money, they might think that, well, I'm just paying money, so we're good, but they neglect her emotionally. They neglect her by not spending as much time with her as she may possibly need. And so these things really matter more so than the money that you bring to the situation. Another thing, spending too much time spent together or not allowing her to spend time alone with others. So there's two sides of this equation, okay? There's the part where you're neglecting her by not spending enough time with her because you figure the money can handle it. And if you have to, work for long hours or whatever, you can just send her off to Tiffany's with some money or whatever. And so you don't want to do that. But you also don't want to be that guy that is constantly trying to see her like 7 days out the week. You're trying to take on a date every single day. If she says that, hey, I need a date to myself or my girlfriend's invited me out, I need to spend time with them, you get all butthurt, okay? And a lot of guys do that. A lot of guys have money. You're just like, well, all right, well, this money, I'm spending it. Like, why don't you want to spend time when I'm ready for it? Dude, same rules apply. Just like if you're an introvert watching this, you definitely want your alone time in your space, okay? So don't be jealous or upset when she says, hey, I need my space. Or, hey, I like seeing you, but I just need a day or two to myself just to kind of reset, okay? And this is why I've said before, you as a guy already need to be setting in times when you're going to be able to have that natural break. So it's a balance between you want to have a natural break of things from time to time, but you don't want to have it where you never see her, but you don't want to have it where you're seeing her all the time either, because those two things are going to stress women out and make them not want to stay around. Another way high value guys lose men is taking on too many responsibilities and not prioritizing her. High value men, admittedly, are usually in jobs where they're making a lot of decisions and they're, trying to figure out how to spend money to make more money, et cetera, et cetera. And so it can be hard sometimes when you're in that position to really be able to separate out the things you should be doing and the things you shouldn't be doing. And a lot of that comes from honestly not trusting other people to take on responsibilities. And that's a whole different subject altogether. But basically, if you're in those kind of positions where you're taking on a whole lot of stuff, you need to start figuring out how to properly delegate that to other people, because that will affect your relationship. And you might be thinking, well, but she knew that I had all these responsibilities when I came into the relationship. That may be true. And she may have been cool with the level that you had when you first met. But if you're taking on even more stuff in the relationship, recognize that inevitably something's going to give. And if you don't want that thing to be your relationship, it might mean either figuring out smarter ways to still be able to make money more effectively without having to do as many responsibilities, or delegating that out, okay? Another way high value men lose women is fighting to always be right. The negative side of having all this money is you think up to this point, every single decision that you made was the right decision to be able to make all this money and become a high value guy. So as a result of that, there may be times if she comes to you and you guys start talking about something and she has a differing opinion and she says something that actually is more correct than what you're saying, but because you're making all the money and you've got to this point where you're at in your life, you figure, well, everything up to this point that I've said is correct, so she's got to be wrong. Or she didn't think about it the way that I needed to, or she didn't really think it all the way through. And so there are plenty of high value guys that start saying, oh, that's not right, babe. That's not anything. I don't want to listen to your advice, whatever. Well, over time, women are going to start taking that personally because they bond through talking, but they also want their partner to see value in what they're saying. If you are not allowing her to show that value or rejecting that value, that can cause them to start to lose interest in you. Another way that high value guys lose women is cheating and thinking the woman will be cool with it. Now, on Kevin Samuel's show, he says that high value men don't cheat, they exercise their options. And so there are some women out there that will understand that and say, hey, you know what? If I'm dating a guy that makes a lot of money and is all these positions, every so often he might want to get his stress relieved from another woman, and I got to be cool with that. And you might have a woman that's cool with that. And that's the discussion you got to have, because some women will be like, I don't care how much money he's making. I don't care how much stress he's under. At the end of the day, he's only coming to me for his physical pleasure. If he's goes to anybody else, then that's going to be a problem. And so you have to, if you're dating and thinking you're going to be able to date and get married to a woman and then still be able to have things on the side, that is an honest conversation you need to have, because you might marry the one that doesn't want that, and then you do it, and then you're going to lose her because she was not that kind of woman that was going to be cool with that. All right. So really talk that out before you decide you're going to be the guy that can have his cake and eat it too. All right. Another way that high value men lose women is constantly complaining and taking out stress on her. Okay. So, and this is true for whether you're a high value guy or not, okay, is that there may be times in your life where you're having problems or, hard situations will arise, okay? And that's not to say you can never talk about it. But I have met some guys where like every other sentence out of their mouth is, oh, the world sucks. Oh, all women are bullcrap. Oh, my job today sucks. Oh, my family's getting them. If you're that kind of guy, it don't matter how much money you have, some woman's going to eventually get tired of that crap, okay? Because we want to speak positivity into our lives. We want to speak positivity into our relationships. And when you're bringing on negative stuff, then what's happening is she's going to start taking on that negativity. It's going to make her start to weigh her down. And eventually she might be like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of that. And more to the point, if you're a guy that's complaining all the time, more often than not, that means that you're probably really stressed out. And over time, she's going to start feeling that you're taking the stress out on her. And women don't want to feel that either. Like, they want to be there to help you relieve your stress. But if you're constantly stressing out all the time, she might just see it as like a never-ending thing that consistently happens, and she might want to be out. Another way that high-value men lose women is turning her away when she wants to talk to you. It's very easy to, if you're a guy dating, just in general, we might have things that we go through, but we don't always necessarily want to talk about it. Like, we might just be like, well, I'm going to just internally process this thing and it'll be fine. Well, women typically process by way of talking. If they're going through a problem or situation, they may want to come to you and just, really get all that out so they can come to a solution. Or she might just want to talk to you about her day. And sometimes she might ask you, hey, how your day was? You might take all 3 minutes to explain your day, and then she wants to go on a 20-minute rant about all the minute details that honestly, as a guy, you might sometimes not care about. Well, guess what? You're in a relationship with her, and part of being in a relationship is being able to hear a woman out when she's talking and telling you about stuff, because she wants to. She wants to bond with you by talking to you and coming to you, her partner, and telling her all about your life, because it makes her feel connected to you, okay? If you start to consistently reject her doing that, or you try to cut her off, or you try to say, hey, babe, not now, talk to me later, but you keep doing that all the time, she's not going to feel that bond because you're not allowing her to bond through talking, and she might start talking to a friend of hers or another guy friend that is a listening ear, and you could very easily lose that woman, okay? Another way that high value men oftentimes lose women is honestly substance abuse problems. Like, if you have a drug problem or an alcohol problem prior to having money, I can assure you getting more money is only going to allow you to afford more drugs and more alcohol, okay? And so even though there are people out there that make a lot of money, a lot of those guys honestly have major drug and alcohol issues, which again can result in problems in the home. It can result in you taking your stresses and angers out on her, in part because you're drunk and high all the time. And so it's not to say that it's bad if you take a little drink here or there, or I'm in California where weed is legal. People smoke weed on a regular basis. That happens, okay? But again, it really behooves you to monitor that. I found as I've gotten older, I've never done weed at all, but I found as I've gotten older, even though I was never really a guy that really liked alcohol that much, I found as I've gotten older that when I drink, I get cranky, I get moody, I get tired, and those aren't things that I want to bring to a relationship. So I've cut down on my drinking significantly. Like, I might do like a drink a month, and that's if I'm getting taken out, and I'll get like maybe like one glass of something, and I know the next day I gotta probably beat to myself because I'm gonna feel some kind of way, okay? So really start to study the effects that these things that you're taking in are having on your body, because again, if you get money and you haven't figured out how to monitor this, then it's only gonna get worse as you get more money. Another way that high value men lose women is constantly breaking promises, okay? Again, doesn't matter how much money you have, costs nothing to be able to be a man of your word. When you say you're going to be somewhere, you're there on that time. When you say you're going to do an action, you're going to do that action. And so many women have a hard time being able to count on men to do what they're going to, just to do the things they're going to say, you know? So if you're a high value guy, it's like, hey babe, so like, I'm gonna take you to this fancy dinner tonight, and then you don't do it. And then the next time it's like, hey babe, we're going out of town for this vacation trip. And then like something comes up last minute, oh babe, we can't do it or whatever. Well, now you're becoming a guy that is consistently breaking his promises, which means she now cannot trust you. And once she starts losing trust in you, it makes it very hard for her to be turned on by you, okay? So even if you're a high value guy that has a lot of money, still be mindful of the things you say are the things you mean, and keep your word to the things that you're saying. Don't promise things that you can't actually do, all right? Another way that high value men lose women is honestly, they lose their status. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you're a guy that's making six figures, and then, say the pandemic hit and you suddenly like lost a lot of your money, okay? More often than not, women want to be with guys that are ambitious, meaning that regardless of what's happening in their life, they're always looking towards the next thing to continue to have some level of success. So momentary financial loss and momentary loss of being high value is not the worst thing in the world. But if you're not ambitious, if you're not a guy that's saying, hey, I can figure out how to get back to that status, or even if you don't get fully back to that status, can still have another plan that's going to allow you and her to still, work in the same way that you guys were and make her still feel like you're going to take care of her, then it's all for naught, okay? So again, this is not to say that women only want guys that are highly successful, but what it is saying is realistically, okay? Just like as guys, we look at women that, they ain't got to be perfect 10s, but we want women that we're going to be at least attracted to enough to want to get into bed with. They're going to want guys that are at least working towards a level of success to where she feels comfortable in that he's going to be able to take care of stuff should other problems arise, okay? So be mindful of that. If you're a high value guy, really make sure that your investments are correct, make sure that you're spending your money in the right ways, and that you have contingency plans in case whatever you're doing to be that high value guy starts to go away. Another way that high value guys lose women is they stop acting and or doing romantic things, all right? Again, early on, it's very easy to be like, I'm gonna throw money at this, I'm gonna show her the world, I'm gonna take her on these trips, I'm gonna do this, but recognize anything you do in the beginning, that is your starting point. If you can't continue to keep that up, that's bad. But more to the point, a lot of guys, once they get the woman, they're like, well, I got the money, I got the status, and she should be impressed enough with that, so I don't have to do as much. So they start slacking off. They stop doing the things that they were doing in the beginning to be romantic, and those kind of things can actually cause a woman to be like, well, wait, like, was the version I got of him like the real version, or was that the fake version? Because now I'm getting this other version, and I don't know what the heck's going on with that, okay? Which actually leads to another way, which attaches that in terms of doing romantic things, is also your at-home appearance starts to decline. When she met you, you were wearing suit jackets, and you were taking it to the classiest place, and you had your cologne done up, and you had your hair done right. And then she sees you still going, when you have to go out to like various events, still dressing up like that high value guy that she met, But at home, you're slobbing around in the house with sweats on. If you don't have an event for a few weeks, you're not trying to cut your hair. You're not keeping your beard shaped up in the right way. You're not even showering half the time. And again, she's like, but what happened to the high value guy that was trying to impress me? Now, obviously, if you're in home life, you ain't got to dress up for a woman every day. But even me, when I'm in relationships, even though I recognize we're just going to be at home, I will still put on like a nice pair of jeans and just like a nice clean shirt that doesn't have any lint on it, that's been ironed, because I still want my woman that I'm with to be somewhat impressed and attracted to me, even if we're just palling around at home. Because who knows if I'm looking right that day at home, if she wants to suddenly like jump off on me and have like, a sexcapade 2022 or whatever, But those kind of things can't really happen if you're letting your appearance decline because, we're at home and she just knows me or whatever. And this also goes to like things like farting in front of your mate, leaving the bathroom door open, you go to the bathroom. Like, keep things on a level where not all that's given away and that you still are showing that you still see her romantically enough to where you want to still keep up some kind of appearance for her. Number 15 way that high value men lose women is different ideals about how to raise kids. You guys didn't talk before you guys got married about how you're going to raise your kids and what you're going to want to do. And then all of a sudden you guys have kids and she wants to send them to public school to be able to, have a feel of what real life feels like. And you want to send them to private school. Didn't talk about that. You wanted to have one kid. She wants to have 5 kids. Oh no, didn't talk about that. You want to be able to be the disciplinarian that spanks your kid and she wants to be able to just talk to the kid. Oh my God, you didn't talk about that. And so these various differences are very, very important because these, a lot of times, is what breaks down marriages is that different parenting styles that were not previously discussed or agreed upon. And now the woman feels some kind of way and is like, well, my way's better and I don't want to see him do it his way. So I got to be out of the house and he can take care of him how he wants to on the weekends. And I'm going to take care of the kids how I really want to in the house. And we're going to split them up. Okay. So these are conversations you got to have beforehand. And then number 16, I said bad sex. And real talk. You might get with a woman and she might think, well, he's got a lot of money and everything's great, but his sex is kind of bad. But you know what? He's treating me so well that I'll let that slide for now. But hopefully over time, I can give him suggestions or I can give him ideas of things we can try in the bedroom that I'll like. So that way I'll still want to be with this guy because everything is great but the sex. And if the sex is great, it's perfect. But guys get butthurt. Guys don't want to hear that they're bad in bed. Guys don't want to hear about what they're not doing right. Or if they hear a woman say, hey, let's try this thing, if they think it's a knock on his skills and they don't want to get better at it. Okay? Now, as great as I think I am in the bedroom, I am always studying up. When I'm with partners, I'm always saying, hey, what things really turn you on? What are your fetishes? What things would you like me to try? What things do you want to try on me? Like, these are important conversations that you need to have. And again, no amount of money is going to cover up for if you are bad in the bedroom. And more importantly, if you're not listening to the things that she needs in the bedroom to be able to get off. Okay? So recognize that if you become a high value guy, great. You're going to be far ahead of beyond most other guys. And you're going to be in that 10 to 15% of the kind of guys that most women are chasing. But that doesn't mean you're going to be in the 10 to 50% of guys that women are going to keep around if you're still doing things that can ultimately turn women off. Now, if you need help figuring out how to actually get the relationship skills that you need beyond just the making money skills, but the relationship skills that you need to be able to meet these women, to be able to emote with them, to be able to really connect with them, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. Check out my program, Introvert Dating Success. Check out my Smart Digital Dating program, which shows you how to meet women online, and then get a free copy of my book, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, which is basically a 12-chapter book on why all the things you're doing right now to try to get women is causing you to lose them, okay? So check all that stuff out at the website. And also, if you're in a situation now where you want some one-on-one coaching, click on the coaching tab at the website and we can set that up for you as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching the show. We're doing 25 of these in a row. So we got a few more days before December 25th, at which point that'll be the 300th show. And I'm taking a break for a little while. So if you want me to talk about something on this show, either within this type of time frame or next year, write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Also, thanks to you guys that have been supporting this show. If you want to show your support, subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/HarryWilmington, or you can leave me a Cash App at $HarryWilmington to leave monetary support for this and all the stuff that I put together for you guys. All right. So that's all I got for today's show. I'm Harry Wilmington and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.